You are halfway down the block, keys in your pocket, mind already on the rest of your day. And then the leash goes tight. You turn around, and there is your dog, frozen at the base of a lamppost, nose pressed to the concrete, utterly absorbed. You say their name. Nothing. You give the leash a gentle tug. Still nothing. To you, it is an empty patch of pavement you have passed 1,000 times. To your dog, it is the most interesting thing that has happened all day. We have all been on both ends of this leash, the person who wants to keep moving and the dog who cannot bear to leave a smell unread. And most of us have quietly filed this behavior under the same word: stubborn. He is being slow. She is dawdling. He is distracted. But what if that is exactly backwards? What if the sniffing is not a distraction from the walk? What if the sniffing is the entire point of the walk? Tonight, let's climb inside that frozen moment at the lamppost and discover what your dog is actually doing when they refuse to move. Because once you understand it, you may never rush a walk the same way again. Start with the machinery, because it is genuinely astonishing. When you inhale, air passes over a small patch of scent receptors tucked high in your nose. You have somewhere around 5 or 6 million of them. It is enough to enjoy coffee, to notice rain coming, to catch a favorite meal cooking. It is a respectable sense. Now consider your dog. Depending on the breed, a dog carries somewhere in the range of 200 to 300 million scent receptors. Not 5 million, not 50, hundreds of millions. And it does not stop at the nose. The part of the brain devoted to making sense of smell is, in relative terms, vastly larger in a dog than in a person.
Some researchers estimate it occupies a proportion of the brain many times greater than our own. Sit with that for a moment. Your dog does not simply smell a little better than you. Your dog lives in a different sensory universe. If your world arrives mostly through your eyes, your dog's world arrives mostly through its nose, and that changes everything about what a walk actually is. Because here is the thing about the way dogs breathe. When you sniff hard, you disrupt the very scent you are trying to catch. A dog does not have that problem. A dog's nose is engineered so that it can breathe in and smell almost as separate actions. When a dog exhales, the air leaves through slits on the sides of the nostrils, curling outward and backward so that the outgoing breath does not push away the incoming smell. It actually helps pull fresh scent in. And there is more. Each nostril samples the air slightly independently. That means a dog does not just detect a smell. A dog can detect which direction a smell is coming from. Your dog is not sniffing the ground. Your dog is scanning it, in stereo, building a three-dimensional map out of information you cannot even perceive. So let's go back to that lamppost. What is actually in that patch of concrete that could possibly hold your dog's attention for 30 long seconds? The answer is a story. A dense, layered, astonishingly detailed story. Every dog that passed that spot left something behind, and in that residue is written an entire profile. Who was here, roughly how big they were, whether they were male or female, something about their health, It is a message board for the entire neighborhood, updated continuously, read and written by every dog who passes. And then there is the detail that changes everything. Scent does not just tell your dog who. Scent tells your dog when. Odors fade in a predictable way. A fresh mark smells sharp and immediate. An older one has softened and thinned. So when your dog lowers its nose to the ground, it is not reading a single flat message. It is reading a timeline. It knows the small dog came through this morning, and the big one 2 days ago, and the fox sometime in between. The ground you see as empty is to your dog layered with time. This is why the freezing happens. This is why your dog plants its feet and will not move. It is not being defiant, it is reading. Extracting all of that information from a complex smell takes time and deep concentration. When you tug the leash to pull your dog along, you are not correcting a bad habit. You are closing the book in the middle of a sentence. Now, none of this means your dog is a slave to its nose with no say in the matter. Dogs make choices about which smells are worth the stop and which are not. You have probably watched your dog march right past one patch of grass and the findings point in a consistent direction. Dogs given more chances to sniff and search tend to behave in more optimistic ways afterward, in carefully designed tests meant to gauge their emotional state. In plain terms, letting a dog use its nose appears to make the dog feel better. There is a reason for this.
Sniffing is not passive. It is mentally demanding, absorbing work. It engages the largest sensory system your dog has and gives it a job it was built to do. A walk where a dog is allowed to sniff freely can leave that dog more satisfied and often more pleasantly tired than a longer, faster walk where it was hurried along the whole way. The nose, it turns out, can do what distance alone cannot. Which invites an uncomfortable little question. How many times have we cut that short? How many walks have we spent gently but constantly pulling our dogs onward, treating the single richest part of their day as an interruption to be managed? Not out of unkindness, simply because we did not know, because we were walking a visual walk and our dogs were trying to take an entirely different kind of journey. The good news is that this is one of the easiest things in a dog's life to give back. It costs nothing, it requires no special equipment, it asks only for a little patience and a shift in what we believe a walk is for. Some people have started setting aside certain outings specifically for this. No destination, no pace, no agenda. The dog chooses.
There are places to be and roads to cross safely, and moments when moving on is simply necessary. Reading the ground should never come before staying safe near traffic, and swallowing things off the ground is its own separate concern worth watching for. Balance is fair, but balance begins with respect, with understanding that when your dog stops to sniff, it is not wasting your time. It is doing one of the most natural and fulfilling things a dog can do. There is one more group of dogs worth a gentle word. As some dogs age, their eyes cloud and their hearing fades, and the world grows quiet and dim. And for those dogs, the nose becomes even more precious. It becomes the main way they still explore, still gather news, still feel engaged with the world around them. For an older dog, permission to sniff is not a small kindness. It may be one of the last great pleasures still fully available to them. If your senior dog wants to stand and read the grass a while longer, that is a gift worth giving. So go back to that lamppost one more time, back to the tight leash, and your dog frozen with its nose to the ground, ignoring you completely. You know something now that you did not know before. You know that patch of concrete is not empty. You know your dog is not being difficult. You know that in those quiet seconds, your dog is doing something extraordinary. It is reading the invisible. It is gathering the news of an entire world written in a language you will never smell. And the next time that leash goes tight, you might find
It is, after all, their favorite chapter of the day. And now, at last, you understand why.